Hi everyone, it's time for another spirit story from Ruth. This is the second week of Advent. We're waiting for Christmas to come, and I'm going to read you a story today called The City That Forgot About Christmas. That's scary, isn't it? They forgot about Christmas. Well, what is going to happen? I hope you enjoy the story. The City That Forgot About Christmas, written by Mary Warren and illustrated by Rudolph Wendelin. There was once a city that had forgotten about God. The people were selfish and mean. The healthy people did not take care of the sick. The sick people complained. The hungry stole food, and the children fought. The grown-ups scowled and shouted. Nobody smiled anymore. Worst of all, because the people in this city had forgotten the meaning of love, they had also forgotten the meaning of Christmas. Christmas Day was like any ordinary day. Nobody sang the joyous Christmas songs. No mothers cooked a special Christmas dinner. No fathers helped their children trim a Christmas tree. There were no mysterious packages, no stockings hung by the fireside. Can you imagine that? No Christmas. One day, a stranger from a far country came to town. He was an old man named Matthew. What, he cried when he discovered that nobody knew about Christmas? Not one of you remembers the message of the angels? Well, we shall see what we shall see. Matthew was a kind old man and merry. In his younger days, he had been a carpenter. He knew how to make many things out of scraps of wood. He could carve, too. He could make tops and whistles and dolls and jumping jacks with his pocket knife. Children trailed after him, wondering what he would make for them next. Wives, when they heard his gay whistle, called to each other, "Here comes Matthew. Perhaps he will mend my doorstep. When Matthew comes, I shall ask him to make me a new window box for my pansies." The men liked to have him around too. He hiked out into the hills with them and showed them the best places to fish. Since he was retired and did not have to work anymore, he had time to help them with their jobs. "The city is a different place since old Matthew came," said a mother. "Yes," agreed her husband, "people are smiling again and doing things for one another. It seems to me there are fewer ugly words, too." Old Matthew was saddened by the thought that nobody could remember the Christmas story. Late in the year, when snow fell and the winds blew, he sat near his kitchen stove and began to carve something new. "What is it?" asked the children. "Tell us, what are you making now?" While he carved, Matthew began to tell the Christmas story. He told of the angel who appeared to Mary and how Mary went to the hill country to carry the good news to her cousin Elizabeth. "This is the angel," he told the children when he had finished his carving. Sure enough, the wooden figure was a life-size angel. The children looked at the angel and touched it and loved it. "But what is the piece you are working on now?" they cried excitedly. "It will be Mary," said Matthew. He pointed to a large piece of wood leaning against the wall. "And that will be Joseph." "Hurry," begged the children, "hurry so they will be finished in time for Christmas." Old Matthew had told them so much about the Christmas season that all families in town decided to celebrate it this year. For the first time in anybody's memory, the city would have Christmas. Everyone was humming and whistling and singing the carols Matthew had taught them. Mothers were stirring up puddings and baking cookies. Fathers were saying, "Come, children, we'll go out into the woods and cut the most beautiful tree we can find." Children were busy making colored paper chains and foil stars to hang on their trees. People were hiding marvelous Christmas packages. Everybody was happy because Christmas was in the air. "My father might like to help finish the figures for the Christmas creche," suggested one boy a week before Christmas. "He knows how to carve." "Mine does too," chimed in another child. And a third, "My mother knows how to paint. I'm sure she would like to help." Matthew smiled, and the smile on his wrinkled face was wonderful to see. "You may all help," he said. "Tell your families to come to my house tonight, and I will show them what to do." Every night after that, mothers and fathers and children gathered around Matthew's kitchen stove and carved and painted and listened to his wonderful tales of Christmas. Before many days passed, the statues of Joseph and Mary, the angel Gabriel, the shepherds, a donkey, and some sheep and cows were completed. "Before next Christmas, we shall build a church," said a father one evening. "But this year, where will we set the creche?" "My tool shop is heated," said another man. "We can clean it and use it for the stable." "We still have the baby Jesus to carve," said a little girl. "He will be in the creche by Christmas," promised Matthew. Christmas Eve was one night away. Long after the people had gone home to bed, Matthew sat up and put the finishing touches on the statues. The next morning, he got up early and left the city. All day long, people wondered about him and looked for him. They were busy cleaning the shop and making it into a stable with fresh, sweet hay and setting the figures there. Before they knew it, evening had come, but Matthew was not to be found. The whole city was astir. Perhaps he was called away or had an errand to do, the people told one another. But surely he will come back before morning and bring the baby for the manger. 7 o'clock, no Matthew. 8 o'clock, no Matthew. 9 o'clock, how can we take our children to say a prayer at the stable when there is no baby?" asked a mother. Sadly, she wiped her eyes. "Hush now," said another mother. "I have an idea." She whispered something in her husband's ear, and he exclaimed, "Yes, I will tell the people that the stable is ready." Off he went. When the people of the city came to the stable, the light was shining inside, and it was warm and smelled of fresh hay. There, in the crib, was a baby sleeping peacefully under his soft blanket. "Someone has put her own baby into the crib," cried a child. "A real live baby," said the people as they knelt to pray. "That is the message old Matthew was trying to bring us these many weeks," said the father of the baby. "On the first Christmas, God came to earth as a real live baby. Remember how Matthew always said, 'The Word was made flesh and dwelt among us'?" A murmur arose among the people as they said to one another, "It is a holy night. He is with us again." And before leaving the stable, a child leaned down to kiss the baby lying in the manger, and she whispered softly, "He is with us again. God has come to our city." And do you suppose that Matthew might have been the angel who brought the message? The end. Well, that is a wonderful story. And I was thinking, do you have someone in your life who's like Matthew? Maybe an angel? Someone who always makes you feel happy or very contented when you're around them, and they even help you to say, aha, that's what Jesus was talking about. Or it helps you when you begin to feel that you would like to be that person for someone else. And angels are messengers, and that's what Matthew was. And I hope someday you can be a messenger, and maybe you already have been a messenger to people around you to bring God's love to other people. One of the things I thought you could do after you heard this story was to get a big piece of paper and draw a line down the middle of the paper, and on one side draw the city before Matthew came. And then on the other side, once Matthew came to the city, what changed and how did the people act, especially when he started carving the statues. This year, Church of the Holy Spirit is going to have a Christmas pageant. Can you believe that? We can't have it like we've always done on Christmas Eve with everyone together in the church. But you will be able to see this pageant if you go to YouTube and put in Church of the Holy Spirit, and the choice for the video will come up on Christmas Eve. That will be the first time you can see the pageant. And guess what other surprise I have? You can be in it. And the way you can be in it is if you want to be an angel or a shepherd or an animal who visits the stable. You can dress up at home and make your own costume and have mom and dad or dad take a picture of you. And that picture they need to send to Melissa Keefe Jones, our senior warden, by Tuesday, December the 15th. Can you believe they can do that? And your picture will be part of the video. I hope you can be part of the pageant. It will be lots of fun. See you next time. Bye-bye.